While I don't think Mel is the most complex companion, I do think she is a tad overhated, and it's not really fair to just write her off as a screamer, as the ultimate caricature of a classic Doctor Who companion. I do think it's mainly dependent on the context of how she's used in order to get the best out of the character. For me, I think early on they had a pretty good idea of how to use Mel effectively. Because she is so energetic and optimistic and actively wants to get involved in adventures, she's a much better contrast to Perry, who didn't really want to be there, and therefore brings out a more positive side to the Sixth Doctor, whereas before he was a bit loud and abrasive. With Mel, he becomes a bit more endearingly grumpy, and plays a key part in toning his character down and making him more mellow. When we switch to early clownish 7, Mel kind of becomes a bit redundant. She could have worked with the darker version, but it's pretty clear Andrew Cartmel spent most of season 24 finding a replacement that more fit his style for his version of Doctor Who, and ultimately I do think Ace was ultimately the more interesting companion, so I get them rushing Mel's exit. Big Finish opts to go the route of putting her in not only darker situations, but takes Bonnie Langford's maturity to make her more responsible and less theatrical and childlike, which she could sometimes get during her TV run. It does clash somewhat with her TV version, but I do like this somewhat older version of Mel, which is why I wasn't actually opposed to her returning in the revival, because compared to other companions, because she is somewhat of a blank slate, it gave Russell the freedom to experiment with her character. Unfortunately, I don't think she really needed to be there in the grand scheme of things. She has some nice moments, like her confrontation with the 15th Doctor and telling him to stand up and fight rather than crying, but otherwise she just feels like a redundant presence. Realistically, her role could be given to Kate or Shirley and streamline the episodes. I'm not upset that she's there, but she has so little to do. It's a massive waste, in my opinion, because Mel has a lot of potential, but they don't really do much with it. We barely get to see her computer skills that she supposedly has, so otherwise she comes off as a bit underwhelming most of the time, which is a shame.